Nah, God is real. God is real. And I don't really care what anybody says or your opinions on how you feel. Those are your opinions. But what I'm saying is that God is real. No matter how hard life gets, no matter how hard you feel you can't stand it, you can withstand it. He gave you the strength. He's going to give you the strength. I promise you. I only got 3 hours of sleep. I'm in the shelter. I'm going back and forth. I just went to Queens and I have so much energy. As if I slept 12 hours, a full night's rest. And plus that, I'm not saying that I'm not physically tired. I've been walking all day. But mentally and spiritually, I feel better than I ever have in years. Years. See, sometimes you don't want to leave this situation that you're in because you're scared you're not going to get anything else out of something. You feel like that's all you deserve. But God is telling you deserve more. You deserve so much more. And you're limiting yourself because you don't want to walk alone and walk in faith and walk in something other than yourself. You're so scared and you're relying on everybody else when God is telling you to rely on Him. Don't be scared to try new things. Don't be scared to evolve. See, everybody says change is bad because they want you to feel comfortable with where you're at. But you're so much more than that if you can get out of seeing change in a negative way. Yes, times are going to get tough. Yes, things are going to feel like you're not going anywhere. Yes, you're going to feel like you're not doing anything the way you feel like you want to do it. But God has a plan for you. You didn't create this plan. See, we feel like we have everything mapped out because we can create something, and yes, we can. But on the other note, God already written our life. He wants to see if we want the life that He written. He wants to see if we want the life that He already put into divine order. You see what I'm saying? We get so caught up in all this mundane stuff. And I left my situation like, I don't even know how long. It feels like I just left and I haven't looked back. And I'm not going to look back, you know what I mean? People are so scared and they go back to situations that don't serve them. And I can promise you, and I'm saying this with everything I love, that leaving a toxic situation or a situation that doesn't serve you is worth the benefit. Like, yes, it doesn't seem like that at first. Yes, it's going to seem hard. Yes, it's going to seem impossible. But the impossible is possible. Like, that's what God is. He makes things that are not possible possible if you really believe. See, I walk down this street every single day, like, since I've been here. And I was just praying because I got some resources from, some other spot. And I was like, I'm so thankful for these resources. I'm so grateful, like, you know what I mean? Like, because I didn't have them before, you know what I mean? So I got some, stuff that I needed. And I was so grateful. And I was just saying, thank you, God for everything you gave me, right? All of a sudden, why do I walk down the same street I've walked down multiple times and I literally see Jesus' name carved out in the street? No joke. You could believe me or not. I really don't care because I saw it and I believe. Just stood there, like literally stopped, like I was meant to be planted there. And I literally sat there and was like, I walk down the street every single day and I was just praying to God because I'm so grateful for things and I have it so good because I'm still alive and even though it's not the way I want it, it's still something that I need. And I was just saying all this stuff and bro, I literally saw Jesus' name carved out on the street and it wasn't like no sign. It wasn't like no anything. It was literally on the street with Jesus' name carved out. And what I'm trying to say is that God gives you signs every single day. And most of the time, you're moving too fast to the point where you can't even see it. You can't even see it. Like, I was moving so fast for weeks on end, for days on end. Walk down the same street, look at the same road. I didn't go no other way. I didn't, make a U-turn. I didn't do anything. I went down the same street I always walk down. But I was moving too fast, and God always tells you to be still. He says stillness is where you start to understand yourself. And I literally stood, like I was just walking eating ramen. It wasn't even like a fancy meal, but I was appreciating what I was getting. And literally I was moving slower than usual. And I saw Jesus' name carved out on the street. That's not no sign. That's not no coincidence like people say. That is a direct message from the Most High. See, just because you don't see Jesus' name carved out on the street doesn't mean that God doesn't give you signs every single day. He gives you signs every single day. And think about how many signs you've missed because you've been focused on the wrong things. Like, just think about that for a second. Like, I think about how I probably missed so many signs because I was moving way too quickly, or I was moving way too fast, or I was wavering in my faith, or I didn't fully believe, or I was complaining about the day when God just gave me a beautiful day to just experience life. It doesn't have to be a plan. It doesn't have to be a main focus point. It doesn't have to be what people want it to be. Sometimes it's just being in the moment, literally. And I was literally in the moment. I didn't have my phone on. I didn't have anything. I didn't even have my earbuds on. And I looked down and I literally stopped. And Jesus' name was right there. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to make you a believer, or I'm trying to sway you off your path, or I'm trying to tell you what to do. It's not about that. You can not listen to anything I'm saying. But one thing that I want you to get out of this is to have faith in yourself and faith in the Most High and faith in something bigger than yourself. Like, have you ever wanted to create something so big, but you can't create it because you don't have Him in your life? There's no way that you're going to be able to create anything bigger than yourself if you don't have some type of positive energy that is going to lead you to help the collective of other people. That's why when most people get money and they get fortune and fame and all this stuff, it becomes like they have so much money, but they don't know what to do with it because they don't have a plan. They don't know God's plan. They don't listen to God's plan. So they just spend money aimlessly, not knowing what to do with it, because in reality, they don't know why they're they don't know why they're here. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing with what they were given. God will tell you what you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be saying, what you're supposed to be feeling. See, God says the number one thing is love, right? That is true. Like, once I left my situation, once I left the situation I was in, and I was scared, I'm not gonna lie, I have nobody. But once I left the situation I was in, I realized I have so much that I can't pay for. There's nothing I can pay for to get the love that I genuinely want from myself and others. There's nothing I can pay for. I could pay for the most expensive thing and I could still be miserable. And I know you hear this often. You probably hear it a lot more often than you think. But what I'm trying to say is it's a bigger picture. You gotta learn how to feel. You gotta learn how to see. You have to learn how to not only see and feel, but believe. Believe in yourself that you're better than where you were a month ago, before you were a year ago. Believe in yourself that you can create something bigger in the future, but don't get so hung up on the future, because God is going to help you get to the future. God is going to help you with all that. What He wants you to do is focus on the moment and be grateful for every single step you take on this earth, every single breath you take on this earth, every single thing you see on this earth. Not because of material or riches. No. He wants you to see beyond that type of beauty. He wants you to see the true essence of what beauty actually is. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. But you have to get to a point where you have to surrender. That's how true it is. You have to surrender to something other than what people want you to be, what you want to be, because it's not going to look the way you want it to look. It's never going to look the way you want it to look. Like, I promise you. Like, I could say I'm a musician, right? All I want. But if God has a plan for me, I could be something other than a musician. I could be something bigger than I ever thought I could be, because that's God's plan. And if I don't stop myself and I actually give myself the time to listen to what God's plan has for me, I might go in a whole different direction. You do not know what God has in store for you. And the thing about it is we act like we know everything. We act like we're so in control. In reality, we have no control, and that's the beauty of it, because the control is what's keeping us back. The control is what's keeping us behind. The control is what's making us traumatized. The control is what's making us fear. The control is what's literally killing us. God said, let me have the control. And you just be my child, and you just learn, and you just understand. You just feel. Like, I haven't been worried about materialistic, like, I haven't been worried about, anything that has to do with advice. Like, I haven't been worried about any friendships. I haven't been worried. Yes, I've been talking to people because I don't want to stay in my head all the time. There's a balance to things. But I also know that I need to be alone. I need to find myself. I need to grow and understand that there's something bigger for me. And the only way to find something that's bigger than yourself is to be one with yourself and to be still and to be in silence. Everybody's scared to be in silence. Nobody really wants to understand the magnitude of what is actually in store because it's too scary, it's unpredictable. But that's the beauty of it. And it's not magic, it's not all this woo-woo shit. Let's really get to the nitty-gritty. It's God, bro. God is way bigger than anything that you can think of. And he's willing to help you in every single way, and we say no. We say no. You say, yeah, I don't want to do that because it's going to be too hard. I don't want to do that because I'm going to have to leave my friends. I don't want to do that because I have to go a different way. I don't want to do that because, maybe I just don't want, you just don't want to put the effort in. That's really the point. You don't want to put the effort in because you don't know where you want to go or where you're going to go, and you don't want to feel like you're wasting time. But the wasting time is trying to control everything in your lane. The wasting time is not giving it a chance to actually settle in to be something more than yourself. And by the time you realize that you're 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, and you have nothing to show for it because you were worried about controlling mechanisms that really were just brainwashing you the whole time, and God was trying to tell you that you could have a steady mind, you could have a clean thought, you could have a nice bed, you could have a warm meal, you could have all this stuff. And you just chose not to deal with it because you wanted something so badly that you started controlling everything and anything that was in your way. And so you didn't let him do what he needed to do. You didn't let him guide you the way he needed to guide you. And then you wonder why your life isn't going the way it is. I'm not even where I want to be, and I feel amazing. I'm not even where I want to be. I left like weeks ago, and I still feel amazing. I've never felt this amazing before, and it's because I went through so many things to understand that I cannot do anything without the Most High. I can't do anything without the universe. I cannot do anything by myself. Why are we trying to do everything by ourselves? Do you understand? Trying to do everything by yourself is literally insanity. Trying to do everything by yourself is literally wrecking you. Trying to do everything by yourself is making you stay in this trauma bonding and fear pattern. Do you understand? Trying to do everything by yourself, you can't accomplish the bigger picture. That's why we have other people in this world, because God, the Holy Spirit, people in our life are supposed to guide us in a way to make, not only show us who we are, but to show us a different perspective about life. Without that, we would be nothing. And God knows that, so he keeps people on this earth to keep us sane. But the thing about he's telling you is he doesn't want you to rely on men to the point where you are losing yourself. He wants you to rely on men to get a bigger point across. He wants you to collaborate with people so you can create something bigger than what you could create by yourself. But that doesn't mean not have faith in him and just try to get everybody's approval and people pleasing and doing all this stuff. It's not going to work. It's never going to work, and it has not worked. And that's why when people have these revelations and stuff, they realize that they were going about it all wrong. Because in reality, you have to understand that God is in control, and he's always going to be in control. The enemy cannot win. The enemy won't win if you don't let him in. If you do not let the enemy in, and you stand in Christ, and you stand in faith, and you stand in what you believe in, and the Most High and positivity, the enemy won't win. Yeah, he can try. Yeah, they're always going to try, because they think that they can test God. That's a test. When things go bad and things are going wrong, sometimes you see it as, oh, this is so horrible. No, that is a test. But one thing about it is, if you have faith, it won't win. It won't win. It just won't. Not saying that you're not going to have some hard times. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it won't win because you know who you serve. And no matter how much trials and tribulations you go through, you know that at the end of it, God has your back. And knowing he has your back, you don't want anybody else to have your back because you know it's not reliable. Because you know that what God gives, nobody else can give you. You know what God gives, nobody else will be able to fit those shoes in life. In literally life. Nothing will ever be able to fit those shoes. So now you think, and you reflect, God is real. God has always been real. But the enemy always lies. The enemy always tells you lies. Will tell you that God doesn't care, that God's not coming for you. And then God's not going to just show you like, I'm here for you. That's not what he's going to do. He's going to let you make this decision of if you want him there for you. If you want that support, that love, that trust, that bond, that feeling. Because he knows that the enemy lies. So he wants you to see if you're going to, that's how true it is. That's how true it is. He wants to see if you're going to fall for the lies. Don't listen to that tongue. That was just a warning because the negative energy didn't want me saying that. But he wants to see if you're going to fall for the enemy's lies. And most people do. And that's the problem. Because God warned us and we still don't take it as a sign because we don't see God in our lives because it took too long. Obviously, it's going to take long. Like, what are you talking about? Obviously, it's going to take long. It's going to take a long time to get to a place where you can really say that you love him inside and out and that you love yourself inside and out, regardless of what other people say. Yes, it's going to take time to build that character. You can't just be it because then you would already be finished. You wouldn't have a story. You wouldn't have anything to offer. You wouldn't have anything to help anybody else. You have to go through the trials and tribulations to understand that you were created for a reason and that you were created for a bigger person and not to fall for the lies that the enemy gives you because the enemy is literally the thing that will kill. Kill your spirit, kill your home, kill your family, kill your friends, everything. Kill your self-esteem, kill your self-worth, kill your just everything you can imagine. That it doesn't want to see you happy. It might trick you. It might say, oh yeah, like I want to help you. And it gives you things in the moment temporarily. But God is saying that I can give you something fully. I can give you something permanent. I can give you security. I can give you prosperity. I can give you whatever you want. As long as you stay 10 toes down and do not switch for anything or anyone. I'm doing that. I don't care. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Regardless of if you do it, I'm letting you know that I'm doing that. And I'm proud to say that. And also, I'm letting you know that this is your time if you haven't chosen him. If you haven't come to him fully. You don't have to be perfect. And I know this video is long, but I'm really serious. I have nothing. And literally, I have everything. And I can't even tell you what he's already done in my life because that's going to become in further videos. I'm going to make more videos, but literally, God is real. And I used to be that person that used to waver. I'm people are really passionate, people are no, they're passionate for a reason because when you have nothing and you see something come out of nothing, you start to question things. Or I hope you do. Know that God still wants you to come to him. Regardless of if you're smoking weed, drug addict, cheating, divorced, doing anything that he doesn't want you to do, he still wants you to come to him. Don't be scared to come to him. You're so quick to go to the devil. You're so quick to go to the enemy. You're so quick to go that way. Knowing that it's not going to serve you. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that the devil's not going to serve you. But yet, we don't care. But when it comes to God, I don't have the time of day. But you have the time of day to smoke 40 blunts. You have the time of day to day drink till sun up to sun down. You have the time of day to hang out with your friends every single hour of every minute. You have the time of day to be on your phone 24/7. You have the time of day to go cheat while while you have a relationship at home. You have the time of day to do so many things that the enemy wants you to do, but you don't have the time of day to give God this chance to save you. Yeah. Nah. Love yourself, protect yourself, know yourself, bless yourself, be yourself, and understand the purpose of what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to force you to understand any of this. I'm not trying to force you to even feel like this is being forced on you. What I'm trying to say is I believe that God is real. I've seen it with my own eyes. I feel it every day. I talk to him every day. Regardless of anybody knows me, I know who I am. And one thing I can say is that you gotta give it a chance. You gotta give it a chance. I look bad right now. I look crazy. Don't got my hair did. Don't got nothing done. Don't got acne all over my skin. These are clean clothes. I washed them, but they're not the clothes I want to flex in or whatever. And I am sitting here saying that God is real and that it doesn't matter about the outer layer. It matters about the inner layer. The inner layer that you feel is the inner layer that you should be working on to understand the feeling of what God really means. It's not in the church. It's not in the house. It's not with anything. It's everywhere. God is everywhere. If you ever seen that movie Lucy, go watch the movie Lucy if you haven't watched it. And when it gets to the end where she turns into this big mass of light, and then she just disintegrates into literally nothing. She is something and nothing at the same time, but she's everywhere and everything at the same time. And that's the message. That's what God is. You can't see God because he's everywhere. But you gotta want to see it. You gotta want to feel it. You gotta want to be around it. You gotta want to surrender. You gotta want to try to change. You gotta want to do things that you've never done, and it's gonna be scary. But let me let you know that hell is a lot scarier. Hell is a lot scarier. And you know what? People don't ever talk about that. They say, yeah, the hell with it, this and that, blah, 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 I don't care. You care. You will care. You care. Just try to act tough around people. You just try to act tough around your friends. You just try to act tough and nonchalant. When that day comes, I'm telling you, when that day comes, you're going to realize that it's way bigger than you ever thought it was, and it wasn't a joke. God never lied, and God never jokes. He's the realest thing that you'll ever meet. He's funny, talented, bright, vibrant, all these things, so much more than that. But he's never going to lie to you. So the things that you hear that people are saying is not real, think again. It's happening every day. Just like the enemy is taking people further away, God is bringing people closer to him every single day. The people that really want to come closer, God is welcoming them with open arms. And you can be one of them. And I'm not saying do it and force yourself and get all anxious and feel like you have to perform. Nah, don't perform. I used to do that. I used to perform, think I'm serving God, I'm doing all this, and I used to get so uptight and all this and ridicule myself. And I wasn't even serving him. I started serving him this week. I started serving him I literally started serving him. And I'm not even doing my fullest yet. And he's still blessing. He's still blessing, bro. Think about that. So if I really give it my all, it's not what can I get out of it. It's who I can be and who I can meet and what I can accomplish for him, because he deserves it. Because he got me out of situations I would have never been able to get myself out of. And you have to think about that. There's some situations where you just can't get yourself out of it. I feel like we all had a moment where we just thought, how did I really get out of that situation? I really could have been, messed up in the game. And it's because he chose to take you out of it. He chose to want better for you before you wanted better for you. And you're going to shame him and you're going to call him all this and you're not going to give him the praise that he deserves. Are you kidding me? I'll do it. I'll do it. But anyway, if you like this video, please comment down below what you think. I love making videos like this, and I'm going to continue to make videos like this because I feel like it needs to go out. And I'm not saying this to make content. I'm not saying that, no. I'm saying this because I believe, bro. Like, I've been through so many things in my life where it's like, I cannot not believe. I have to believe. You know why? Because it's happened in front of my eyes. And I'm blinding my eyes because I don't want to believe that something is bigger than me, is saving me through the harshest times, and we're going through all this. And I want to be arrogant. I want to say I got it. But no, I don't got it. I don't got it. I don't got it. I will never have it. You got it, God. God got it. That's true. Anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. I know it's long. Please, if you're watching this video to the end, I'm so blessed. You guys are blessed. No matter who you are, God wants you to come over to his corner, not because he wants you, but he wants you, not because he wants you like to feel bad about yourself, or he wants you to put you through more stuff. He wants you to come to him so he could provide you with the love that you never understood, the love that you'll never be able to feel without him. You will never be able to feel that without him. Ever. And it's true. Anyway, bye.